Yo, JD here, and we're here for round 8 of ILR here today, and we're at France Paul Ricard circuit, and I haven't done 2 rounds this season. I missed Baku and Monaco because I wasn't able to attend, and then I didn't get in the points at Bahrain because unfortunately I got taken out on the last corner in that race, but I was on track for some good points there. Currently, I think about P5 in the championship because of that at this point, but I'll be included in the championship table at the end of every race from now on. But coming into this one, after esports, I really want to up my game again and get back to the level I was when I was on the controller. I've made some very good progress on the wheel, but I really want to be fighting for wins now, and I know I've got the potential to do it, but I just really need to properly grind it in the league racing scene and just do it pretty much, and that's what I want to do. So this race really shows an example of the practice and the effort I've put into this here. This lap was a pretty good one that's completely clean, which you'll be able to see because it's quite controversial around here. That last corner, that last right hand, you can completely extend it, which does increase the distance of a track, but it just gives you such a slingshot onto the straight. And also on the exit of this chicane, which you see here, so breaking the 100-meter board, can cut that inside quite a bit as well, but we do that very nicely. But this, you can completely straight line that. You can gain 2 to 3 tenths there. So I was pretty happy with this lap, but the guys on the front, hopefully their laps were clean, but I was really happy with this. A very clean, solid lap, and yeah, you'll be able to see qualifying. I definitely still need to, if I can qualify in the top 3 every time, my race pace is very good around most tracks, but particularly this track. I put so much effort into this, and I'll be grinding the full season now because I have so much more time to actually do it now esports is over. I really want to be fighting for wins, and I'm really determined to do that. So hopefully you will see that progression as well. But coming towards the end of the lap now, we do a 28.5, which is only a few tenths off pole position, as Martin now talks.
Cheers, man. It's vulnerable. Yeah, I got Hayden Barmead's clean and Holland on super sauce. I'm not convinced by that, to be honest. He's only going to get dropped back in the start, and again, I don't know. I'm not buying that, to be honest.
To me, mine are in 5th and 6th, but quite a big distance between the top 5. It seems to be this top 5 seemingly to be the quickest on qualifying trim at the moment. I know Martin is definitely there in the race as well.
Check the pit lane limiters,
as Martin's given me some pretty good advice going down to the grid. We have a really good relationship as teammates on here. It's working really well. We give each other some good advice, and hopefully he has some much better, more deserved results in the future. So lining up on this grid now, my setup was completely designed for the race because it's a very touch and go one-stop round here, and you really do need to look after your tyre temperatures and tyres. So 4 lights, 5 lights, trying to get a good start. I've been working on my starts here, and you can see initial launch compared to Joe and the others are pretty even and pretty good start. Martin is kind of protecting me from behind here, so we're going to go into first corner, looking around the outside. We've actually been pushed wide a little bit.
I got hit.
As Martin, he got hit by someone else, so he pushed me out wide, but luckily there is no damage. And one thing I really want you to pay attention to in this race is how I use the fuel and the ERS. Something I learned a lot from watching other esports drivers is Martin, unfortunately, I think he's got a little bit of damage, which he really doesn't deserve because he's putting a lot of practice for this as well, and he's incredibly talented. He's just not getting his run of luck as he's just confirming he's got some damage there, so it's really unfortunate for him. But we have luckily managed to maintain our 5th place position in this race, and the race is on now because I was aiming to win this race. Nothing less than a win here. I really wanted to win this race because I've been practicing with VSR Simon and Surprise, who are among the quickest. I think they are the quickest on the game, along with CRG Evo, and I was keeping up with them very comfortably in race practice. We're going down the inside of VSR more so. He goes out wide, so that has gifted us our position, and now we're up into P4, and we always get qualified by Omar G. It's Joe in front of us, but it seems he suffers quite a bit of looking after his tyres, and in practice it seemed to be a familiar story as well. So I was really hoping to get past him as quick as possible and not lose touch of the leaders, because I felt I had better tyre wear and just race management of the 2 in front who are rapid in qualifying. If I could just get close to them in qualifying, that's what I really need to do for future races. But in the race pace, doing plenty of practice of them. The pace, I would say, was almost faster than them in the race, and you can see there, that is the only warning we got this race, and that's something I also worked on quite a bit for this, because it's very easy to get penalties around here. And racing with Simon and Surprise, they actually got quite a few penalties in practice, and I was really trying to make sure I got no penalties. So even if I didn't finish ahead of them, if I could finish within 3 or 6 seconds of them, which I was pretty confident I could do, then I had a very good chance of winning this race. So I really needed to clear Joe as much as possible. It looks like he's already struggling on this tyre, so we're pulling away from Morso behind, and I think he's just running no ERS, he said to me after the race. He just decided to let me go. So very thankful for that, and now we'll be able to look at the gap between Surprise and Simon, and now it's game on. And now I just wanted, as I said, to just manage my tyres and just go for the win, because I really felt I had the pace to do it, and the rest of this race shows that I definitely had that, and that's what I need to do, keep doing to the end of the season. So the gap is 2.5 seconds now, and now we're coming to the end of lap 5. The gap is 3.1 seconds because slipstream around here is so powerful. They're actually dragging each other along whilst being able to save tyres and ERS as well if you're the car behind. So it's very hard to close in them, but we've actually pulled away from the guys behind, and our pace is very strong at the moment. So managing to keep within touching distance, and as Martin's saying, if I'm going to pit this lap, and I actually am. I normally was going to pit at the end of lap 6, but since there's a little bit of a gap ahead of me, I knew I could go to the end at lap 5. So I decided, once coming off this last corner, they continued for another lap, which I was quite surprised about. I decided to go for an undercut, which is a good 2 to 3 seconds. So I should come out ahead of them if I get a good pit stop. So coming into here now, should be a 2.7 pit stop here, but we've actually been held by Morso and Thomas as well, I believe. And Morso was about 2.6 seconds behind me if you looked at the and he's actually jumped us in the pit. So that is... I was absolutely raging at this point. I just didn't know what to say, and I don't know what to say really. I was 2.6 seconds ahead of him, and you can see how much of a gap we had on him, and now the undercut is going to be pretty much impossible now because we were 3 seconds away from the leaders, and I really felt I could have undercutted them, and if I could just stay with them coming out the pits, then I knew I could stay with them to the end of the race, and all we got to do is just forget about that and push now. I think Martin's trying to give me some words of encouragement here now.
We've seen practice sessions, they get like 9-second penalties, so let's head down there. You got the fucking speed, mate. Just fucking got it.
And yeah, exactly what Martin said. I knew they got penalties in practice, and I didn't get really any penalties in practice. I was keeping it very clean on the track, and whilst maintaining a very good speed as well. You can see they've come out the pits now, and they've actually extended the gap because I've been held. I think I probably lost in total about 3 or 4 seconds, I would say. So I would have been right where they were. You can see the gap from Morso to Surprise ahead. We would have been maybe even ahead of them coming out the pits. So that is really, really unfortunate. But I know the race is not over. They'll go battle with each other to the end of the race. And as I said, they can get penalties in this race. And it's not something I'm hoping for, but it's something I'm going to keep use for myself to keep motivating in this race. Because if I do get penalties, I want to make sure I stay within 3 to 6 seconds at the very, very least. As Morto has actually overtaken Crab, who's actually hasn't pitted yet. He's still on the super soft tyres. We're making a little bit of contact with him, so he's not really letting us pass that easy. He's still fighting us for position, which is fair enough if he wants to make his strategy work. But luckily, we managed to clear him with no incident like we had in Spain that time with Reynolds, who also took us out in Bahrain as well, I believe. So no incident this time. But now we're on the back of Morso, who's got some very good pace here. So we were dragging each other along quite nicely. But I felt I had a little bit more on the tank than him. And you can see the amount of traffic we've got ahead of us. So I'm really, really keen to now get past Morso, to then try and close on Simon and Surprise. We've got a lap older tyres, which can play a pretty big factor around this track. Tyre wear is absolute key around here, and tyre temperature. As we've gone down the inside of Morso, we're doing another repeat of that one hit, but this time he decides to hold it around the outside. He holds it down the inside. We're going to leave him over a car length's worth of room, make a little bit of contact, keeping it on the track, and we've actually managed to do the move on the outside, and fair play to Morso, they kept it very, very clean, and his pace is very good, so I know it's going to be very hard to drop him now, but again, I've got the motivation to try and close in on the guys ahead because they've got the traffic if they've got penalties, and also it's good to have Morso right behind me because it actually keeps enabling me to push. I can't really relax too much. It actually forces me to keep on pushing. So we'll go catch some other guys who haven't pitted as well. You can see Simon, and for surprise at the top or the bottom left of the screen, you can see at the top of my map there. And now this is the fastest lap in my race, which I always include in every single highlights. And I want you to take note of the ERS. So we run low going through here. I ran quite a lot of fuel. Because I don't really think running high fuel really hinders your speed in terms of weight of the car. That's something I've definitely noticed around here. Running no ERS and lean through this section just to save the tyres, and you don't really lose any speed at all. It actually gives you probably better traction coming off this slingshot corner and then back into overtake and high going through here. And now we've got the benefit of DRS from overkills ahead of us. And I make a lot of changes for the fuel and the ERS because, again, not only to save tyres, but it also gives me better traction and then also just better performance on the straight as well. So it's just a win-win using this. And you see, particularly in the last sector, how we use the ERS and fuel. It works very, very well, and I lose pretty much no time compared to if I used my max settings, maybe only a tenth or so. So we're going down the inside of overkills, who's sensibly kind of lets us pass there because he realizes he's not in the same race, he hasn't pitted yet. And now we're going to see the gap what it is between the two leaders, which I was really hoping they would battle more, but since they overtake each other on the straights because the slipstream is so OP, they actually are kind of dragging themselves away from me. They're not really costing themselves actually too much time, so really just gotta, with no benefit of DRS now since we cleared overkills, we've got to just rely on raw pace and potential penalties to close in. We've done a 33.1, which is kind of the lap time you want to be aiming for the most of us in it. And we're 3.7 seconds behind them now, and see back down to low. But as I was saying with the fuel, you can run quite a lot at the start because it just doesn't really affect you that much, to be honest. So compared to 4 laps to 2 laps, I really found no difference, and it doesn't really damage your engine. But now we moved on to the last lap now. Simon's made a mistake which has allowed Surprise to get away, and the two leaders, their tyres, the lap pressure tyres, and me, is really coming into benefit now. I just couldn't really maintain the pace I was doing because I just, one lap older tyres just makes such a big difference. But we actually got Morso. That's what we've got to worry about at the moment. We've got Morso right behind us now. He's managed to keep with us the entire race. His pace has been absolutely excellent this race. So we're trying to get a really good exit of this using no ERS again just to get that good traction. And now running overtake. And let's see if he's got the straight line speed to actually try and challenge us now. And I think he has. You can see he's closing and closing. So we're going to go to the middle of the track just to try and deter him because it's a very tight apex. He actually goes around the outside. And my tyres are completely done at this point because I just haven't been able to switch positions. We haven't switched positions at all like Simon and Surprise have given me a break. I've had to push the entire race. And now he's going to try and attack me once again. We're just about within 3 seconds of Simon. So if he's got a penalty, we can maybe somehow, if he makes a mistake this last sector, try and get within that 3-second mark. And you can see Morso, I'm surprised he didn't actually go for a move here. I kind of half defended it just again to try and just make him a little bit nervous going down the inside. But now we've got hot lap for the rest of the lap now. And you can see the arrows starting to fade away. And we should be able to secure this 3rd position from 5th on the grid as well. It is not really too bad considering we had that pit stop thing, which really cost us quite a bit of time. We've come across the line now. We've actually come P2 this race, 5.3 seconds behind Surprise, and we actually beat Simon by a 1/10 of a second. So it shows how important it is to push the entire time. And this race, I was happy with the result considering where I started, but also disappointed because we had that issue in the pits where I think we lost 3 to 4 seconds there, which really spoiled the opportunity of me to try and fight for the lead, because otherwise I think we actually would have come out, if not ahead of these guys, it would have been completely next to them and they would have had cold tyres, and I was very confident we could stay with them. We would have easily stayed with them to the end of this race because of how powerful Slipstream is. So that is the French Grand Prix in ILR. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Here's the championship standings here below, and I will catch you next time at Austria.